We've got a special guest right now. We've got His Excellency, the High Commissioner for Australia here in Mighty Mate Ma'a Tonga, Mr. Brek Batley. And we'll be talking about the big game that's going to be happening on this Sunday between the Mighty Mate Ma'a Tonga and the Kangaroos. But before that, I'd like to welcome you into the show.
Hey,
Your
thanks
Excellency.
for having me here, Lala. It's great to be back. And what a week. What a week.
What a week.
I was at Digicel Square last Saturday, and I watched the game against New Zealand. And needless to say, I was barracking for Tonga. Sorry, New Zealand. I was barracking for Tonga, and it was such a great atmosphere at the game. Oh my gosh! And then the city came alive.
Yeah, and then it's been a while since we've had a game like that. I think. Not just between Tonga and New Zealand. It's been a while internationally with rugby league, having a game that close, and it's so exciting.
Yeah, rugby league is just growing and growing in the region, and I think this tournament's a great example. You've got seven teams, you've got 16 matches, men's and women's. And when it gets to finals, when it gets to the last 2 weeks of any competition in rugby league, you've got serious professional players who just bring their hearts to the game. And the best example is Tonga, right?
Yeah.
They are a team that since 2017, when those group of players, Jason Tamalolo, Michael Jennings and others all decided that they were not going to play for Australia or New Zealand. They were going to go back to their homeland and play for their country, wear their red jerseys with pride. And ever since then, that's been a 7-8 year journey for Tonga that, you're seeing the benefits now. I think Tonga's fifth in the world. After this tournament, they're going to be higher than that, that's for sure. And it was, as you say, it was such a close game. That last few minutes was crazy. You've got talented players like Katoa and game players like Aiden Whenua-Blake that just bring their best games when they need to. And that's what you need to win games, right?
My next question is this Sunday. I know we have spoken before about when it comes to Australia playing Tonga, you have to wear kind of like the two hats. Which hat are you going to be wearing on Sunday?
Well, I'm always torn when it comes to these moments. I was undoubtedly wearing a red jersey on Saturday night last week. This week, I'm sorry to say to your listeners, it's going to be a green jersey.
It's going to be a green jersey.
The Tongan team is too good. They don't need my help. I'm thinking back to last year's final. Like anything can happen in finals. Last year, Australia played New Zealand.
Yes.
And they lost 30-0. 30-0 to New Zealand.
Yeah.
I think it was in Eden Park, or certainly in New Zealand. But Australia hasn't been beaten on home soil in Australia for quite a few years. I think it's 3 or 4 or 5 years. So it's Tonga. I know the Tongan team they've set up camp not far from the stadium in Sydney. And there's I think every Tongan flag in Australia has been sold out. That's what we heard.
I heard they're asking New Zealand if they can send their flags over.
Don't send the New Zealand black ones. Send the Tongan red ones.
If you permit me, Your Excellency, I'm going to make a challenge right now, not just on radio, but it's going to be posted on social media. If Tonga wins, I will have to ask Your Excellency if you can wear the Tongan jersey for a whole week. And if the Kangaroos win, I will have to wear the Kangaroos colors for a whole week. What do you think?
Oh, wow.
I'm laying down the challenge. I'm laying down the challenge right now.
I'll have to look at my work contract to see whether I'm allowed to wear another country's jersey for a whole week and not lose my job.
For a whole week.
Well, I would be happy to take on that bet. Maybe not a whole week.
Okay.
But maybe the next time I'm in here on your radio show, I'll wear the top.
As long as you're wearing it publicly for one day.
Okay.
I want a photo of you wearing it publicly. That's how much I think that the Mighty Mate Tonga is going to beat the Kangaroos.
Yeah, well, I think it's going to be a tough game. I also have a bet with the Prime Minister.
Oh.
Yeah, you're hearing it here first. I also have a bet with the Prime Minister that if Tonga wins, I will wear the jersey.
Oh,
Tongan
yes,
jersey.
yes.
And if Tonga loses, he has to wear the Kangaroos jersey. So they could either way.
Either way, you're going to be wearing the jersey.
One of
for
us.
2 days.
Yeah.
One day for me and one day for the Prime Minister.
Yeah, that's. Tonga has a history of coming back in some of these games. So I think that game against was it England where you were 3 tries down with 8 minutes to go.
Yeah,
the semi-final.
Semi-finals, yeah.
3 tries down with 8 minutes to go, and you got 3 tries.
And
then you got a 4th try, but I think it was disallowed in the last seconds.
If the ref went to the TMO, we would have made it to the final.
Yeah.
That's what we're taking. We're believing that for now. If the ref went up to TMO, we would have went to the final. Right now, anything you want to talk on when it comes to the game, or anything between Australia and Tonga?
Well, I think this is, first of all, the Australian government's helped support this tournament. We're really keen to see all sports flourish in the Pacific, men's and women's, and not just rugby league, across all sports. Here in Tonga, we support from table tennis all the way through to netball and rugby union. So. But this tournament, the Australian government's really invested in. We've put in $7 million over the 2-year period to make sure that we're seeing all as many Pacific Island countries compete in it, and that it's a world-class tournament. And I know I just can't wait to see all the Tongans in Australia. I mean, this is what brings our countries together: is sport, religion, values. All of these things bring our countries together. And what I'm scared of, Lala, is at the stadium, I'm going to see more red shirts and flags than I am going to see green ones. That
fear is going to come true.
Yeah.
Because I have heard that the Tongans are now asking around for tickets, because they've pretty much sold out. Well, there was a call out. The reason why there was a call out from the fans in New Zealand. To the Tongan community in Australia, saying this is how you do it. So the Tongan community in Australia is saying, no, watch. Watch. So come Sunday, I don't think there'll be. Maybe the Australian supporters will be watching it at home. It'd just be a lot of red jerseys.
But I can't. Did you see at the game on last Saturday night with New Zealand? They had the microphones out there when the haka and the sipi tau was done, and the noise between those 26 players.
Yeah.
But then the crowd, it picked up all the noise of the crowd. It was crazy atmosphere in New Zealand. I think it's going to be the same in Sydney. I can't wait to see the sipi tau out there in the middle of the field.
When Tonga beat the Kangaroos, they were speaking to a lot of the players, and I can't remember the name of the player, but he said he's played for Australia, played State of Origin, and he's never heard a crowd like that. They had to physically walk to the next player to call out, because they couldn't hear each other.
It was
so the atmosphere is going to be massive this Sunday.
Yeah, well, they sold out. There was 33,000 at the last game 3 weeks ago between Australia and Tonga. That's one of the biggest crowds, I think, in 5 or 6 years in Australia for a rugby league test. So that was the first game of the tournament, not the final.
And the final is going to be, you are right. You're going to be seeing a lot of red. There'll be like a little spots of green. Little spots of green. You're
spots of green. I think grass shoots coming up in the.
You can count it in one hand or something. The little spots of green.
They're going to be really loud. Those 7 Australian jerseys. But the on the war cries, I remember years ago, before I came here to Tonga, the World Cup from 2021, and it's on social media and everything, is when Samoa and the Tongan team did their war cry, did the sipi tau and the Samoan one, and that was insane. They were all the players came up right to each other on the 50 metre on the halfway line, head to head. I think Jerome, Jerome Luai.
Luai,
he was there. But the best thing, straight after they did those sort of really tough war cries, was that they then hugged each other. Before the game, and I just think that's so true of Pacific Islanders and our region, is that it's highly competitive. The rivalries there. But at the end of the day, we know we're all together. We know we're friendly and all part of one big team.
Your Excellency, it's always a pleasure to have you here. I had fun, enjoyed the conversation. But just my last question. You did mention the investment that Australian government's having on sports, not in the Pacific. And I know in our last conversation in a previous interview that you were saying that how important sports is for any community, especially the Pacific community. How true is that? And can you talk more about the investment that you guys are doing, especially sports in the Pacific?
Yeah, so sports is critical. It's not just about having great athletes that get gold medals or win tournaments. It's about what sport teaches kids and what teaches teenagers and what opportunities it gives people. I mean, when we talk about opportunities, there are so many Tongans in Australian netball professional leagues and in rugby league and rugby union leagues, and they're all sending money back to families here. So, sport it offers so much in different ways that we don't often think about. I think leadership for skills for kids. I think keeping people off the streets and giving them meaningful activities to do. The idea of teamwork, all of those things are just what we see as being important to invest in, and so that's why our High Commission here supports all those sports I mentioned earlier. The grassroots level, we have a program called Team Up, and we work here. But as we do in Papua New Guinea, as we do in Federated States of Micronesia, as we do in Samoa, we support young kids coming through to learn the beauty of sport. And not just in rugby league, not just in rugby union, but in all sports, and men's and women's equally. And you think of how it helps, change the debate on women's empowerment and women's role in sport. I mean, it wasn't that long ago that there wasn't a Tongan rugby league team, and now look at it. It's in regional competitions and playing really well. And I want to see the Tongan women's team in the next tournament try to go up another level. So. I think it's going to be an awesome couple of years for Tonga, because in 2031 you've got the Pacific Games coming up. So congratulations to the government and to all the people of
That would be so good for Tonga.
Yeah, and that's a game changer. It's I'm sure all your sporting bodies will start really thinking about how do we get more participants and even stronger athletes competing. How do we leave a legacy from those games? And Australia will be there with you the whole way. We'll have programs that will support some of those elite athletes, but also some of those grassroots initiatives.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency, and thank you, Australia. I know that it's not just rugby league. I know that is the highlight. Is Sunday big game and Mighty Mate Ma'a Tonga and the Kangaroos, but I have done some sort of work with the netball outfit, which also, again, big thank you to Australia, and also with the rugby union as well. Again, big thank you to Australia. So thank you for seeing something that needed to be invested in, because, I mean, just look what's going to happen on Sunday. What happened last Saturday with a lot of people, especially the Tongan community, coming out and again, putting aside their differences just to go and support your team. It's going to happen again this Sunday, and you're right. Sports brings people together. Win or lose, sports bring people together.
And you'll also look great in green.
I was just going to say, I was just going to remind you, I do have a few brand new Mate Ma'a Tonga jerseys that was given to me. I'm going to save it for you to give it to you when you're going to be wearing it for one day for me and another day for the Prime Minister.
Yeah. Gosh, they're adding up. I better have no more bets in case I lose, huh?
Thank you very much, Your Excellency, for being here, and it's always an honor to talk to you.
Thanks, Lala. Great to speak to all your listeners too.